Coach, having Tory available, how did that help into how does having Tory available tonight help you guys?
I mean, it gives us the depth we need. You know, that's helped us thus far this season, having versatile players that can guard different positions. And then his offensive rebounding has been a huge plus for us. His physicality, you know, he's been good for us. I talked to him yesterday about his heel, because he wanted to play one-on-one after practice. The guys are getting after it a little bit, and I just kind of pulled him to the side and just told him, like, bro, you gotta manage these days when you're starting to feel the bumps and bruises of just ramping up, you know, around the league. If you look at the health reports, there's so many guys that are out with nagging injuries, and so we're trying to do our best to manage it. But his importance for us is vast in the versatility that he gives us.
Any update on DeAndre in terms of progress?
Nothing to report.
Coach, I know Jay was well respected around here for being a knowledgeable defender and his communication. How have you seen this group kind of embrace the challenge on that end of the floor? I know you have continuity in the starting lineup, but as far as communicating and keeping your defense at the level you want it to be at.
I mean, I think the guys who've been here know what we want to do. I think they've done a good job of helping the new additions to the team get up to speed as far as what they may know from their previous teams, and then trying to help them figure out what's the same, even though it may be a different word for it or something new that we do. I think the guys who've been here have been really good about that because they know what we're doing, and that helps when you have continuity.
Go through this process of getting new guys kind of ingratiated into the terminology. Just how long does that kind of typically take, or does it just depend on?
It's hard to say. I mean, I think it depends on the guy, but I never ask a guy, are you up to speed? You usually just yell at them when they mess up. No, I'm joking. I mean, I think it's different for different guys. But the coaches spend a lot of time pre and post practice trying to get the guys up to speed on what we do. The second unit has spent a lot of time together pre and post practice working on both offense and defense to get everybody to a level that's manageable, where it's not too overwhelming as far as learning all the concepts. You know, we haven't reinvented anything here. We try to do what everybody does. We may say it differently, but I think once they figure that part out, it becomes a bit more easier.
Monty, Minnesota's bench is off to a great start. What have you seen from them on film?
Just the ability to play differently. They're trying to figure out, you know, with Rudy and Carl, you know, that's a different deal for them. But the bench, in particular, Prince has been something that a player that you have to account for. When you shoot a high number like that, it reminds you of Murphy with New Orleans. So that part is remain the same. And then McLaughlin, if he plays tonight, like, he's a pest on defense, and he's an organizer on offense. So that part, along with Nas Reed, he was really good last game in the second half, and he's always been pretty efficient. And his readiness to play has always helped him since he's been there. Sometimes he may not even play a lot in the first half. In the second half, he comes out and he's knocking down threes and making 50-50 plays. So, you know, their bench is, you know, something that we talked about this morning that we have to be ready for.
What's just the value of a player like Kyle Anderson bring to a team offensively when he can be a connector off the ball, and then on the ball he can be a point guard sometimes?
I mean, you said it. I mean, he's versatile. He plays a number of positions well. He can play in different concepts well. And defensively, he guards a lot of positions just because he's smart and he's got length and he's got great instincts. I was with him when he was much younger in San Antonio, and you could see it. Then people call him, he's got a nickname, Slow. Yeah. And I'm not quite sure if that's the case. I just think he's really efficient with the way he moves around. He doesn't just waste energy. He's just a good player.
Coach, are you sticking with the same front line?
We'll see.
With Steve Nash, obviously being front line in Brooklyn, I don't know how close you were to him at all. Just curious your thoughts on seeing that.
It's always tough to see somebody lose their job. You know, we all kind of know how hard these jobs can be. I haven't seen anybody have to deal with more than him in recent years as far as non-basketball stuff. And to see him lose his job is, you know, it's tough to watch from afar. I know this community is fond of him, and rightfully so. He's one of the more respected people historically in the league. And to see him lose his job was tough when you heard it. I heard it as our shoot around started this morning. And so just felt bad for him, and never seen that guy have a bad day. You know, he's always smiling, high-fiving. I mean, he'd go to a straitjacket convention and still figure out a way to high-five somebody. I mean, he's just that kind of dude, you know, and to see him go down like that was pretty tough to hear this morning. So I just feel for him and his family.
Cameron was talking about Ish obviously not being there because of his passing of his father and saying, you know, they're brothers and having support for him. What's it like for you as a coach to know that you got a team that cares that much about the fellows?
It's pretty cool. It's not anything that we have anything to do with. That's just who they are. Away from the floor, when somebody has something going on, they always respond in an intentional way. And when we found out the news about Ish's situation, they all were taken aback by that. Not many of them even knew. I didn't even know till a couple of days ago what was going on. So I'm sure they have supported him the way they always do when something comes up.
Monty, apologies if you already mentioned this, but you go there and Towns on the front line, you're missing beyond the Dayton. I mean, have you guys talked about just crashing boards like crazy? Or
I mean, we always talk about it, but obviously it's a bigger deal when you have two buildings down there in the paint, you know, that can get extra possessions. Rudy's one of the best at it. And for us, when we play pretty much a smaller lineup than most teams, the sandwich rebound becomes a big deal. If you're guarding a perimeter guy and your guy's not going to the glass, you got to get in the paint and try to help out your brother who's trying to box out a 7-footer. But we feel like we've done a better job this year. We've had a couple of games that we didn't care for, but for the most part, we feel like our guys are pretty intentional about getting into the paint when their guy isn't crashing to help out with the rebounding. But sometimes it's just about will and enforcing the toughest shot possible and then contest and stay. You know, what we don't want to give up is long rebounds. Sometimes the one that falls in the paint, sometimes it just happens, but the long ones are the ones you want to make sure you get.
Yep.
Right.